Ladies and gentlemen, in a world that constantly measures success in terms of material wealth, status, and social validation, the one investment that often gets overlooked is the one that matters most: our mind. When you look around, you'll see people investing in stocks, real estate, luxury items, even relationships, but very few prioritize nurturing their mind. And yet, the mind is the command center of everything you are, everything you do, and everything you'll ever become. Before anything else in your life flourishes, your career, your relationships, your health, it begins with your thoughts, your focus, your beliefs, and your internal narrative. That's why the greatest and most essential investment you'll ever make is in your own mind. Think about this. Everything you experience in life is filtered through your mind. Two people can live the exact same day, face the exact same challenges, and yet one finds strength and growth while the other collapses under the weight of it all. The difference? It's not luck, intelligence, or opportunity. It's mindset. Your mind is your lens, your filter, your guide. If that lens is scratched with negativity, fear, or limitation, no matter how much you look at, the picture will always seem damaged. But if the mind is clear, strong, and well-tuned, even the darkest moments can be turned into something purposeful. We live in an age of distraction. Notifications ping our phones every minute. We're constantly bombarded with information, opinions, and noise. In this chaos, the mind can either become your sanctuary or your prison. If you don't train it, strengthen it, and nurture it, it becomes vulnerable to everything: stress, comparison, insecurity, anxiety, and fear. But when you invest time and effort into developing your mental faculties, into learning, into clarity, into emotional intelligence, into inner peace, your mind becomes the most powerful tool you own. Let's be real. You could lose your job, your relationships might end, markets can crash, people can leave, and fortunes can disappear. But if your mind is sharp, strong, and resilient, you can rebuild anything. Because it all starts from within. Your ability to think clearly under pressure, to stay calm during chaos, to rise after failure, and to pursue growth relentlessly comes from a mind that's been trained, not indulged. Training the mind isn't just about intelligence, it's about emotional regulation. It's about building self-awareness, developing discipline, cultivating curiosity, and silencing the inner critic that tells you you're not enough. It's about making space for new beliefs, rejecting outdated conditioning, and being willing to evolve, even when it's uncomfortable. When you invest in your mind, you're not just learning things, you're learning how to think, how to manage yourself, how to find peace when life offers none, and how to make decisions that reflect your highest self, not your fearful self. We often spend more time planning our weekends than we do our growth, and spend hours scrolling through social media, watching others live their lives, while ignoring the incredible potential locked inside our own minds. But imagine what would happen if you took just a portion of that time and invested it into reading a book that challenges your thinking, into journaling your thoughts to gain clarity, into meditating to calm the chaos, or into listening to mentors who've walked the path you aspire to walk. Imagine where you'd be in 6 months, in 1 year, in 5. The difference would be profound. The truth is, people don't rise by accident. Growth isn't an accident. Clarity isn't an accident. Confidence isn't an accident. All of these are byproducts of mental investment. When you intentionally expose your mind to higher thoughts, when you feed it with truth, perspective, wisdom, and discipline, it begins to shift. It starts to rewire itself. You begin to question your old patterns. You stop settling. You no longer tolerate environments or people that drain you. You start making decisions that are in alignment with your values, not your fears. That is the power of a trained mind. We live in a society that rewards appearance over substance. It celebrates the final result, but rarely honors the mental battles that had to be fought to get there. Behind every success story, there's a quiet journey of self-doubt, discipline, resilience, and mental grit. Those who win the external game have already mastered the internal one. They've learned how to bounce back from rejection. They've learned how to keep moving forward when no one believes in them. They've learned how to stay focused when distractions scream for attention. And they've learned how to keep their mind strong when everything around them is falling apart. This is not something you can buy. No one can sell it to you. You have to earn it. Day by day, decision by decision, thought by thought. You earn it by showing up for yourself when it would be easier to give up, by being intentional about what you allow into your mind, by choosing truth over comfort, growth over familiarity, and purpose over pleasure. Investing in your mind also means being selective about your environment, the people you surround yourself with, the conversations you engage in, the content you consume. These all leave an imprint on your mental landscape. If your mind is your garden, you must protect it from weeds. You must nourish it with quality, and you must prune what no longer serves you. A toxic environment can poison even the strongest mind, but a nourishing one can elevate even the most broken spirit. You must also recognize that mental investment is not a one-time event. It's a lifelong practice. Just like the body needs regular exercise, the mind needs regular growth. If you stop learning, you start stagnating. If you stop reflecting, you start reacting. And if you stop challenging yourself, you start shrinking. Growth is a continuous process, and your mind is the vehicle. The sharper it is, the farther you'll go. Now let's talk about self-talk. The most powerful voice you'll ever hear is the one inside your own head. What you say to yourself daily either empowers you or destroys you. A mind that's been neglected will often default to criticism, doubt, and fear. But a mind that's been invested in learns to speak life, not limitation. It becomes your ally, not your enemy. When you train your mind to encourage you instead of berate you, you create a foundation of confidence that no external praise or validation can replicate. A trained mind also knows how to be still. In a world addicted to busyness, silence is a rare treasure. Yet in silence, the mind finds its power. In reflection, in pause, in solitude, this is where clarity is born. When you give yourself time to think, to reflect, to be present, you begin to hear the wisdom that's often drowned out by the noise of the world. You begin to reconnect with your own intuition, and that guidance will lead you further than any trend or popular opinion ever could. And let's not forget resilience. Life will knock you down. That's a guarantee. But whether you stay down or rise again depends on your mind. A mind that's been trained to persevere, to find meaning in the struggle, to embrace the discomfort as part of the growth process. Such a mind can never be defeated. It may bend, it may ache, but it will never break because its foundation is strong. So, how do you begin this investment? You start where you are. You read more. You listen more. You spend time with people who stretch your thinking. You question your assumptions. You challenge your comfort zones. You learn how to sit with your thoughts instead of escaping them. You build habits that support your growth. Morning routines, journaling, physical exercise, mindful practices. You take breaks from the noise and reconnect with your purpose. You stop living on autopilot and start living with intention. The best part? This kind of investment, the more you feed your mind, the more it gives back. New ideas emerge, opportunities become clearer, your problem solving improves, your confidence grows, your emotional stability deepens. You begin to create a life that reflects who you truly are, not who the world told you to be. And the return on that investment is immeasurable. Imagine a world where more people invested in their minds, where emotional intelligence was valued more than status, where wisdom was pursued more than entertainment, where peace was more desirable than attention. That kind of world would be more compassionate, more innovative, more resilient. And it starts with individuals like you choosing to take your mental growth seriously. Your mind is your greatest asset. Before you chase anything external, money, fame, validation, approval, invest in this one thing. Because when the mind is right, everything else follows.